All right, today we're going to dig into something pretty wild. It's a way of looking at farming that's, well, it's deeply spiritual, it's incredibly holistic, and honestly, to a lot of people, it sounds downright bizarre. We are talking about biodynamic farming. You know, there's this one really popular vision for our future, and this quote just nails it. The idea that as we code our algorithms, we are literally designing the future of what it means to be human. It's this belief that technology is the blueprint for where we're headed. But is that really the only option we have?
I mean, what if we're looking in completely the wrong place? What if the real profound instructions for a healthy future aren't sitting on a microchip somewhere, but are actually written in the stars, in the soil, and in all the spiritual forces that kind of animate our world? So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the spiritual crisis that even started this whole movement. Then we'll look at the idea of a farm as a living, breathing thing. We'll dive into its connection with the cosmos, check out the very unique preparations they use, and finally get to the ultimate goal, tapping into the wisdom of the soil itself. Okay, so to get this, we have to go back in time, way back to the 1920s. The world was in chaos after World War I, and this philosopher, Rudolf Steiner, he saw something happening. He saw the rise of chemical fertilizers, not just as a farming problem, but as a sign of something much deeper, a spiritual crisis. He really believed that a world obsessed with just stuff had totally lost its connection to the living earth.
And this is his core argument, right here. For him, if you take a beetroot into a lab and analyze it, you're basically studying its corpse. Sure, you see all the chemical bits and pieces, but you completely miss its living spark, its essence. He argued that the real vitality of that beetroot comes from its connection to everything, the soil, the seasons, the whole cosmos. You know, the very things a lab has to strip away.
So this way of thinking led him to a pretty revolutionary idea. A farm shouldn't be treated like some factory just churning out food. No way. It should be seen as a single, self-sufficient living organism, a complete individual.
Steiner had this amazing analogy to get his point across. He said that trying to find a plant's vitality just by looking at the plant is like trying to find the source of magnetism by looking inside a compass needle. It's impossible, right? You have to look at the entire Earth's magnetic field to understand it. And for Steiner, it was the exact same for a plant. You have to look at the entire universe.
And this whole concept actually has a name, the agricultural individuality. The big idea is for the farm to become this perfect closed-loop system. It creates its own fertility, its own manure, its own compost, its own life force. Everything is in this beautiful harmony, the land, the plants, and the animals all working together.
But, you know, what powers this living farm? What makes it tick? Well, this is where Steiner's vision goes from the farm right out into the cosmos. He believed that the chemical elements we all learn about in school, they're just the physical containers for these incredibly powerful spiritual forces.
So he didn't just see carbon as C on the periodic table. He saw it as the great artist, the shaper that literally builds all living things. Sulfur was the messenger, the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. Nitrogen was the carrier of life itself. And hydrogen, well, hydrogen was the great dissolver, the force that returns everything to the cosmos when its time is up. It's this incredible cosmic dance of creation and dissolution.
And get this wasn't just some abstract philosophical idea. We actually have his chalkboard drawings, like this one right here. This is literally how Steiner saw it in his mind's eye. These invisible cosmic forces flowing down, shaping the life of the farm, that living, breathing organism we were just talking about.
So in this worldview, where everything is connected, the huge patterns of the universe get mirrored in the tiniest things, and often in really, really startling ways. The same processes that are happening out in the stars and deep in the soil are, in his view, also happening right inside of us.
And that idea of total interconnectedness leads to what is probably his most shocking statement. Now, he wasn't trying to be gross here, he was making a really radical point. The same spiritual processes that create rich, living compost in the soil are, he believed, the exact same forces that create the physical matter of our brains. It just completely shatters any idea that we're separate from the Earth. So how do you actually do any of this? How do you work with these cosmic forces? Well, this is where we get to the famous and, yeah, famously strange biodynamic preparations. You can think of them as kind of like homeopathic recipes for the soil.
Okay, so the big one, the cornerstone, is called Preparation 500. You take a cow horn, which he saw as a perfect natural antenna for cosmic energy, and you stuff it with manure. Then you bury it in the ground for the entire winter.
The idea is that it soaks up and concentrates all these life-giving cosmic forces. Then in the spring, you dig it up, take just a tiny pinch, stir it into water, and spray that supercharged liquid all over the fields to bring the soil to life.
And believe me, it doesn't stop there. The other preparations sound even more like something out of an alchemist's lab than a farmer's shed. We're talking yarrow flowers in a stag's bladder, chamomile in a cow's intestine, oak bark inside an animal's skull. I mean, it sounds bizarre, but the key is that none of this was random. Each ingredient, each animal organ, was chosen very specifically for its unique spiritual properties, all designed to channel different cosmic forces to heal and balance the farm.
So after all this, burying horns full of manure, skulls full of bark, what is the point? I mean, what's the ultimate goal here? It's not just about growing bigger carrots. It's about reconnecting with a completely different kind of knowledge.
You see, Steiner had this incredible respect for the wisdom of old-school traditional farmers. He believed that what modern thinkers might call their stupidity was actually a deep, profound spiritual wisdom, a direct connection to the land that academic intellectual science had totally lost sight of. And really, biodynamics is an attempt to consciously get that wisdom back.
And that really leaves us with a pretty fundamental question, doesn't it? As we try to design our future, as we look for balance, are the most important answers going to come from looking deeper and deeper into our algorithms and our labs? Or might they come from listening more closely to the rhythms of the cosmos and to the deep living wisdom of the land?